Hey, this is Luke Simons with Salt Strong. We're going to talk about paddle boards. These are paddle boards for fishing, and we're going to cover 3 different types. As you can see, we have 3 boards here, very different. They all have their pros and cons. Just like anything, there's never a one-size-fits-all option, but here are 3 different boards, and what we're going to do is we're just going to go through the pros and cons of each. That way, if you do decide to go out and get a paddle board, you'll have an idea of which ones to look for. So let's go ahead in the first one. This is what I call the surf style. Really the distinguishing characteristic is just the front end that's raised. This is the one I've used for multiple years. I like it. It's not the best for fishing, but it does have its pros, and we'll just go through those a little bit later. Next, we'll just go to this next one. I call this the V-hole, just the standard paddle board, like shaped like a V, just like a boat. Cuts through the water really great, and it flares out to be much wider than mine for stability. Next one, I call this the Catamaran. This is a new style out. I actually just picked this up. You can still see the plastic on here. It has obviously twin V's, so cuts through the water really well. Has the large platform for stability. But the cool thing is that the water just goes straight through the middle, so there's less drag. So you get stability with less drag. All right, so pros and cons of this surf style board. Again, this is mine. I've used this many years. I've caught a ton of fish off of it, but it's really not the best for fishing. The pro is that it's just super light. This board is probably maybe 20 pounds or so. I can easily just pick it up with one hand, have my paddle wedged in my arm, have all my gear in the other, and just one trip from the car to the water. So it's super convenient. I also like to surf. So I actually do take this surfing. That's actually the reason I bought it, is to go surfing. So it's very fun to surf off of. You can still fish on it, but it's not very good for fishing. Now, so the cons are that it's very loud and it has a lot of water drag. So just zoom in here on the front. The reason why I say it's very loud is that this front is rounded and it's raised off the water, so that every single wave, it comes up and slaps the bottom. Every single wave, if you're going into the wind, you're gonna have just slap after slap after slap, and that's just gonna cause big trout, redfish, snook to just scurry off. They'll know you're there. So very loud board, and also for paddling into the waves too, it just hurts your momentum. Every single wave just hurts your momentum. It's tougher to paddle into the wind. As far as this style, this is a very narrow board. It's 28.5 inches wide, which is more narrow than I would recommend if you're going to be fishing. It is good for surfing, but if you're going to be fishing, if that's your primary reason for getting the board, you're going to need to get a wider board like one of these. All right, so now we're going to cover the V-hole board. And again, this is the board with this nice V on here. A pro, obviously, is that it just cuts right through the water. This is a buddy's board, and I've been out on it with them paddling. We'd have races, and this one is much bigger. It's much wider, as you can see. This is, I believe it's 34 or 36 inches wide. And although it's wider, it's much faster than this one, again, because this V-hole cuts through the water. And as far as stability, you can see just how this tapers. Obviously, the more surface area that's touching the water, the more stable it's going to be, and the wider that touching is, the better. So very wide board, very stable. Even on the back, still very wide. So very stable board. And again, the fact that the V-hole, if you're going to be doing a lot of fishing and paddling long distances, highly recommend getting a board with a V versus the surf style. But again, the surf style is good to surf on. This will be very difficult to surf in. All right, so this final type, this is a unique one. This is one that I've tested out once so far, and I just picked one up. But the reason why I like it is because it really has kind of the best of both worlds, in the fact that we have that's a good V, and it has 2 of them, so it cuts through the water nice. Yet it's also it's extremely stable. I just got a dog, so I want to take the dog out fishing with me. And as you can look at the top of it, the reason why it's so stable is because it does have the surface area that's focused on the very outer edges. It is wide, very stable. The fact that it just spreads the buoyancy out on the far edges, and it goes all the way to the top and bottom of the board. So very stable, tracks well. And the con though is it's heavier. So everything has a con. This board is a bit heavier than the others, but it's all about what you want to use it for. If you're going to be out on the water for a really long time, if you're going to be doing a ton of fishing, you want to be able to sit on the cooler and possibly even stand on the cooler, then this larger platform, just the wider board, is obviously a pro. But if you want to just have something easy that you can just pick up easily and take it, one arm of the board, other arm your gear, this one will be a little bit more difficult. But again, all three of these boards are extremely different. All of them can catch a lot of fish. It's just a matter about getting out there and getting after them. And I do recommend testing boards out. If you can find a dealer that has different types of boards, different sizes, you need to test out different widths, different lengths, again, different points at the front. There's just so many options. Just get one that makes you feel comfortable and have a blast out there. Sure is a fun way to fish. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions at all, just leave a comment down below. Otherwise, if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. More importantly is make sure to subscribe to our website. We have all of our best fishing tips there. We also have a weekly newsletter with just good fishing tips, viral videos. It's just a ton of fun. We know you'll love it. So thanks again for watching. See you again soon.
There's something about the water that'll give you peace, all by yourself or with your family. Live salt strong and where to